Hey guys, welcome back to the vlog. So today we are just going to kind of be going around doing some updates. A lot of new changes have been happening recently, lots of things being added, and so I just thought I would hop on here and kind of just show you what's going on because I'm super excited about it, and I'm just really excited to show you everything that's new and everything that's happening. So let's just hop right into the video. Okay, so first new addition to the garden is we now have a garden gate. Isn't that great? Yes, it really is. So I actually built this with the help of one of my brothers, but I am super excited to have a gate. I think it's going to be a little bit better protection to keep my dogs out, because I was having a lot of problems, if you've been following me, of them getting in my garden and tearing my plants out and things like that. So I think this gate is going to help a lot with that problem, and I'm super excited to have a gate because it just feels kind of more official. And then also I have a sign. So we got this sign at Walmart because I just have this Go Team. It's like a flag hanger. The Go Team, like, you know, just block that out, but it says hello summer and it has sunflowers on it, and I think it's super cute. And if you couldn't tell already, we love sunflowers around here, so that's been super fun. I absolutely love that. So I need to get a latch to like be able to keep this closed, but for now we're using a rock, and so I've just had to move the rock real quick. So, the other addition, and sorry if my lens is fogging up, but the other addition to our garden is I got a rain gauge. Super duper cute. I absolutely love it. I've been wanting a rain gauge forever, and actually we just got some rain. We got about a centimeter, and I absolutely love the rain gauge. It's so cute. Love it so much. So that's the other addition. And then, if you can't tell already, my garden is mulched. So yes, I mulched our garden. Okay, I did not mulch the garden, actually. My lovely parents did, but my dad weed eated and then mulched it, and I think it looks absolutely amazing. I love it. I think it looks super duper clean. So yeah, I have it mulched, which is super duper helpful. But I'm liking the mulch because then it'll keep the weeds down. Like, if you saw a few of my garden tours, like, the weeds were so high that it's like I'm walking in, you know, I'm walking through like really tall weeds. And then also, the other thing that kind of makes me sad is the clover flowers were kind of attracting the honeybees and things like that, but it's not that big a deal. I have a lot of clover around my garden, so I think they will still kind of be hanging around the garden, and so I'm not really worried about it. I think it'll be just fine. But yeah, that's another fun thing. Oh, okay, this is something that I really wanted to talk to you guys about. That, y'all, I love YouTube, okay? So let me talk to you. Okay, so here's the reason I absolutely love YouTube. So one, it is such a great community, and one of the things that I was really like racking my brain over, because I've been gardening for like I think this is my 4th season now, or my 4th year, and I've been growing for a while, but I always got bagged compost. Whenever I topped my garden beds, always got bagged compost. So if you've been following along, you know that this year, for the first time, I got bulk compost from a company. And, you know, my growing season was going great, right? And I started to notice that the tops of my tomato plants were shriveling up and curling. If you followed me, it was in my slicer bed. I had to pull those plants, essentially. So I was like, okay, maybe it's a disease, you know, on my part. Like, by myself, I thought it was a disease. Then if any of you guys follow Roots and Refuge Farm, go check them out. Love Jess, one of the people that I followed for like forever. And if you've seen a few of my videos, I like have her book and things like that, you know. But she got the same compost as me. And she was having the same problem, like the shriveling up at the top of her tomato plants, or she's having. And she at first said that it was drift, that it might have been drift from her road. And I was like, okay, maybe it's that. Like, that makes sense, because my dad sprays Roundup, so my dad sprays Roundup on the weeds. So I was like, okay, the weeds in my like gravel driveway, I thought, okay, maybe it was drift from that. And then Jess was like, well, I actually used this compost. I had gotten the same compost as her, and she was like, okay, well, I use this compost in these beds, and these are the beds that are struggling. And so I was like, oh, so that's it. So I think that it was the compost that I got, I believe, and so that, I think that's what happened. And like now I've replanted and all my plants are honestly doing good. I have one plant that's kind of starting to struggle, but I've replanted. Everything's doing pretty good, and I think everything's going to produce, because at the time I replanted, I didn't know it was the soil. Like I had suspected it, but I was like, it's fine, because I really didn't want to believe that it was the soil. But everything honestly is doing okay, and I'm just going to just kind of like ride out this season. And then this fall, what I'm going to do, once I pull everything out, once I've gotten everything I needed to get from this gardening season, I saw in the comments, because once she was put up that YouTube video, I went to the comments because people were commenting about having that same problem, things you can do to try to get herbicides out of the soil. So if you're kind of confused, because I realized I didn't explain this part, basically the problem with my soil is maybe it has some kind of herbicide, something in it, and so it's still herbicide damage. It doesn't matter if it was drift, it's the soil, it's still herbicide damage. So I looked through the comments of Jess's video, and I was like, okay, like, let me see what other people are doing to kind of like treat the soil issue. And one person said, well, Jess had said that you can plant sunflowers, and sunflowers will take out that. So I think I'm gonna plant some sunflowers once I rip out some of the stuff, and I'll plant sunflowers in places like that. But the thing about me is I literally have put this compost everywhere, like literally everywhere. But not everything's struggling. Like a lot of the things that I have put in this compost are doing great. So I'm not worried about it. It's mainly like the nightshades. So that's like your potatoes. And you guys had saw my potatoes were curling, and I think it was the soil again, because that entire bucket, it was completely filled with the compost. And so I think the potatoes were really struggling. So you guys saw the potatoes were curling, so that's a nightshade. You have your tomatoes, I believe your peppers, things like that, those are nightshades. And so it just herbicides affect nightshades. And so everything that's not a nightshade is honestly doing great. And I actually have one sunflower planted, so that spot will just be treated, and then I'm gonna treat the rest. But one of the comments said that they they sprinkled mustard seeds, mustard green seeds throughout their garden, and then the next season they grew their tomatoes and they were just fine. So I think that's what I'm gonna do this fall. I'm going to sprinkle all my beds with mustard seeds and let that do that. So I'm gonna ride out this summer season, and then this fall I will plant mustard seeds and just let that be treated, and then the next spring I will plant everything again. So that's kind of how I'm going about treating it. I'm not going to do everything at the minute because right this minute. I'm not going to do anything right this minute just because I feel that everything is fine at the moment and it's growing fine, and I feel that I think that the fruit is going to be fine, so I am still going to eat the fruit. I think that it's going to be fine. The plants are growing fine, and I'm just going to ride out this season till I can treat it. So that, I just wanted to share that with you guys. That's kind of what's going on with that issue. But other than that, like, everything's doing really well. Everything's growing fine, giving me produce, and so I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to treat my soil this fall, and hopefully that will take care of the issue, and we'll have a great season next year. So yeah, that's kind of your spill for the day. So yeah, I have a couple more things I want to show you, so let's go. Okay, so we're over in my used to be chicken area. If you guys don't know this, I don't know if I've ever shared this before. Maybe in one of my first videos, we used to actually own chickens. We have gotten out of it just because of actually lots of reasons, but this is the used to be chicken area. And I actually wanted to show you guys that I have started a compost pile. So I kind of dabbled into like bucket composting, like composting in a bucket. That didn't really work out. And I think I'm just kind of overcomplicating, to be completely honest, the composting. But I'm just going to do a very laid back version of it. So I'm just throwing any scraps I have, anything like that, into a pile. Honestly, I just kind of put like a little rock border just kind of into a pile. As you can see, here it is, and I'm honestly just piling up any scraps that I have, anything like that, just kind of leaving it in a pile. So that's my effort to compost. I will keep you guys updated on that. So another thing I wanted to show you is we got the blueberry area cleared. We got it all weeded and it looks absolutely fabulous. And the blueberries are looking great. So update on the blueberries. Okay, so the blueberries. The blueberries honestly look really good. They're super healthy plants, but I think I've made a few mistakes along the way with my blueberries. One, whenever I first bought my blueberries, I think this is their second or third year in the ground. Whenever I bought my blueberries, I did not do any research. It was a mistake on my part. I did not know what I was doing. I was like, oh, I just want blueberries. I saw one of my neighbors plant blueberries, and I was like, oh, okay, I should plant some blueberries. So I have 3 plants here. And the plants themselves are doing really good. They're just not producing anything. And I later did some research after the fact that I had planted them, and I figured out that blueberries like really acidic soil, and I have not fertilized them at all. So one of my plans is either this fall or next spring, I need to figure out what the right timing with that would be, is to buy some kind of blueberry fertilizer or acidic fertilizer and fertilize these, because I think that they just don't have the right nutrients. The only thing that these had was some compost that I had put down, with some bad compost that I put down, and I just put down a layer of mulch on around them recently, but that's literally all that I put for these. So they really haven't been fertilized all that much, and I've just kind of been a neglected blueberry mother. So yes, I need to fertilize them, but this area is cleared, which feels so much better, and I can finally get to the blueberries, and honestly, they're looking fine. When it comes to like the plant itself, they look fine. I just would like them to produce me some blueberries, you know? That'd be fun. Alright, on to the next update. Okay, so this is the next update. We have our Parisian pickling cucumbers have sprouted. Super exciting. And then our squash are just starting to sprout. And then I'm trying to get my silver slicer cucumbers to sprout. But everything here is doing really, really well. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Okay, so this sucker that I planted has flowers on it. I'm gonna have to pick these off because I do not want it producing fruit. That's hilarious though. There you go. The sucker's doing pretty good. Hoping it'll start growing roots soon. But doing pretty good. Dahlia has exploded. This dahlia that I transplanted is actually doing better, so that's good. Okay, so I also wanted to mention too, if you guys are ever going to like the garden center to buy some plants, going to the farmer's market, whatever it is, if you have transplants or newly transplanted plants, I always pick off blossoms. If there are ever transplants and they're trying to set fruit, I always pick them off. If they're newly transplanted, like I have just transplanted them and they are now setting blossoms, I pick them off. Just mainly because I don't want that plant focusing its energy on setting fruit like that sucker over there. I want it to focus all its energy on creating a root system. Like if I have a newly transplanted plant and it's just now in the ground and it's starting to set fruit, I don't want it to do that because I want it to be focused on, I don't want it to be focused on setting fruit. I want it to be focused on spreading its roots and creating a really good root system in the ground before setting fruit. And then if you ever are at the store or at the local garden center and you're buying transplants, I know this sounds weird, and for a lot of new gardeners this is a really weird concept, but try to buy the smaller plants, especially whenever you're more into the season and they have a lot of plants that are like in containers and setting fruit. Don't buy the ones that are setting fruit, just because that plant is going to go through more transplant shock. Even though it sounds weird, it's going to go through more transplant shock because it's so established than a younger plant that isn't really that established, and it's going to be easier on the plant to transplant it. But if you have a really established plant, it's going to be harder on the plant when you're transplanting it. So if you're ever like trying to buy a plant at all, try to buy the smaller ones that aren't as established, because it'll be less harsh on it whenever you transplant it. So here's your little tip for the day. So that's pretty much it for this vlog of updates. I hope you guys enjoyed, maybe learned a little something. I finally know what happened to those tomato plants and how to treat my soil, which is really, really relieving. And hopefully, if you guys have that problem too, that I was able to help you out. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all those good things, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.